All right, Mountain Toughers, we've been asked a lot about building mental toughness and how you build mental toughness, so we wanted to shoot a small video to you out. It's a great question, it's a great thing we all think about. And if I could phrase it out, a way to keep it in mind is learn to turn what's extraordinary into the ordinary. And think through that for just a minute, because that's one of the key things of mental toughness, learning to change what right now to you is extraordinary and make it ordinary. When you turn that corner, you'll start to learn that everything lines up with that. So some examples, for instance, we make our folks run outside. And a lot of things you do in life right now are ordinary. You have ordinary routines, you have ordinary patterns, and you got to break out of those things and make those things maybe a little subordinary to you, because there are some things right now that to you seem a little bit outside the ordinary, a little bit harder than what you currently do. For example, we make folks run outside even in the winter. Now that always gets a little bit of blowback and a little bit for what I call sniveling. Why are we running outside? It's 10 degrees or 5 degrees. Go do your lap outside, there's snow, we can do it inside. But what we're doing is trying to get you into a new mindset. Ordinarily, when it's cold outside, snowing, whether it's raining, hail, sleet, whatever it is, our automatic default setting is I'm gonna train inside. That's where I'm gonna do my warm up, I'll do all my training inside. But I tell people to get outside and push them to go outside as long as you can do it safely. Why? Because that is a little bit of an extraordinary thing to do. Is it easy? No, you've got to think through it. You got to think through the gear you need. I got to have a hat. I need gloves. I need some kind of sweat top. I need some kind of clothing up top. And I got to have shoes that'll handle it. I can't run in boots. And there's some ice so I can't run my normal pace. I'm going to have to make some adjustments. Can I do it safely? Yes. Is it ordinary? No. Then go do it anyway. So take the safety precautions, get outside. But what we're doing is we're slowly changing your mindset, that default setting. We're taking something that is ordinary, I normally train outside, we're putting that on the back burner, and we're saying you're gonna do something extraordinary, we're gonna make that your new ordinary. From now on, you look outside, you see the snow, you see the sleet, you see the hail, you see the rain, you see the cold. You say, ordinarily, I'm going outside. That is now my new ordinary. I've changed ordinary to extraordinary. And so that's the key with mental toughness. It's a matter of building the discipline to make the hard decisions as much as you possibly can until the point that they become the habits and the older things are no longer habits. And so what we've done is raise the bar a little bit at a time. Now my old ordinary is no longer ordinary. That's out of the question now. So I have a new ordinary. It's 10 degrees outside, I'm going outside. It's 5 degrees outside, I'm going outside. I have built a new ordinary. Now if I do anything outside of that, that's no longer the normal. My new normal is the hard default setting. Same thing goes with the workouts. What is extraordinary to you right now, maybe, man, I can't finish this workout. But what you're doing is over time, you're forcing yourself to finish it. Maybe it takes you a little longer than normal. Maybe you set some extra time aside. Maybe you gotta move those weights a little bit. But you're pushing yourself to finish the workout, even if you have to pause. I can only do 8, but the workout calls for 10. I'm gonna rack it, I'm gonna breathe, and I'm gonna push myself through the 10. What I'm doing is little by little, I'm changing what I consider normal, what I consider ordinary, and what I consider extraordinary. I'm changing that extraordinary to the ordinary. Every week now, every day, I'm pushing that new limit. But that requires discipline. Whether it's getting up in the morning earlier than you normally do and changing that to that extraordinary to ordinary, whether it's staying late to work, whether it's finishing a workout all the way through, whether it's finishing in less time than you expected, everything now is moving that needle from ordinary to extraordinary and then leaving it there because that's your new ordinary. So everything goes that way. So the discipline is the key part. Again, it goes from waking up, it goes to disciplining your time, it goes to disciplining your work habits, and it goes to disciplining your training habits. Everything goes towards that hardest new level, and don't allow yourself to sneak back to what used to be ordinary. Now, another lesson we learn a lot out of this is sometimes folks don't understand, where do I draw that line? Well, the line depends on where you are. So what's extraordinary for me may not be extraordinary for you. Some of you guys are amazing athletes. You do things all the time. So what may be extraordinary for me right now is not for you. You are pushing yourself against yourself, not against those around you, and against your goals. If you've read our articles, you know we talk about choosing your why. You need to define your why. But once you have that, now you're evaluating everything against that why. When I first went to Purdue a long time ago, I walked onto the Purdue's football team. I thought I could be a football player. I was about 145 or 160 pounds, and I thought I could do this. And so I trained all through the winter, and I thought this is something I could do. Pretty soon I got to see the real football players, and I realized something. That's not a realistic goal. Probably never should have been a goal. Not really wise. These guys will break me in half. Chances are I won't be a great football player. But I learned something else, though, in all of that. That whole Airborne Ranger thing, I didn't think that was really realistic either, based on my initial entry into the program. And those of you who've read our blogs have seen the articles. That wasn't really ordinary for me either. But I realized that goal was something I could do. I'm not physically inhibited from that. That's going to require some work. It's going to require a lot of discipline. It's going to require me to do some things that for other people are not ordinary. I'm going to have to train harder than most people do. I'm going to spend most of my Friday nights not partying, but out running with a rucksack and training. And I'm going to have to learn to go with less sleep and work harder than everybody else. So my ordinary became what to other people would probably be considered extraordinary. But that was me breaking through barriers, one step, 1 month, 1 quarter, 1 year at a time, until such time that I got to the point where I got to go in 1990 and got to finish the course. So ordinary becomes extraordinary, and that goes to every aspect of your life. The other thing is, too, you've got to design those goals such that they're stretching you, but they're not impossible to reach. You may have a why that's way out there. You've got to drive for that why, but your goals along the way have to be constantly pushing you closer and closer to it. And once you get up there, you don't stop. Even training in the military. Again, read our blogs. You saw the story about how I ran with Mike up Cardiac Hill and how we pushed each other up. The secret to that, though, even though I'm older than him and run further than him, is not that I'm a greater athlete. The difference was I knew my max heart rate. How many of y'all know your max heart rate? You should know it. How many times a week do you test it? Get up there and push it. You can do that 2 or 3 times a week. There's no limit. If you're out there running, you do a good steady state run, you want to finish it off with a burner at the end, go ahead and do so. Just get yourself in the habit of, you know what? Ordinary for me is I'm finishing my runs at my whatever my max heart rate is. That's ordinary for me. Some days I won't do that. That's subordinary. But ordinary for me is I'm running at this intensity all the time. And that becomes my new ordinary. So when we start doing that cardiac hill with guys that are younger than me, for them, reaching max heart rate, that's an extraordinary event. For me, that's an every other day event. So it's a little different as we face the same challenges together. At least I have faced this before. I am very comfortable being at this place. This is ordinary for me, not so much for them. So those are some of the things you can do. Start increasing mental toughness. Work on that discipline. Work on moving that needle for what's ordinary to the extraordinary. And keep pushing that needle to the next level, the next level. Never settle with where you're at. And one more thing. Every one of us faces challenges every week, every month. Some are harder than others. Some are life-altering. Some are not. But one of the things to keep in mind about mentally tough people is that challenges become opportunities, and how you look at them it will determine how you get through them. If it is a challenge, then you will suffer through, and you will find that your mental capacity may not give you the strength you need to get through. Mentally tough people understand every challenge is an opportunity. Is it pleasant? No, but it's there. I've got to face it. It's that dragon we talked about at the starting line, but it is an opportunity to blow through that dragon. Every surgery, every life-changing event, you can either face it as saying, wow, this is going to be really hard, or you can say, yep, this is going to be tough, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how I'm going to work my way around it. If it's a surgery and I got to come back off the surgery, what am I going to do to get back to where I was before, inside my new normal? Those challenges, when your challenges become opportunities, you're starting to turn the corner from ordinary to extraordinary. It's an extraordinary event. It's another opportunity to overcome something. I have gone through periods where every year I had a new surgery, or every year a new life-altering event. And every one of those things was a challenge, and every one of those things to me, I enjoyed. It was an opportunity, and it made me a little bit better at the next one. So keep that in mind, Mountain Toughers. Change the ordinary to extraordinary. Make that your new ordinary. Learn to face every one of these discipline opportunities, push them through. Take yourself and keep moving the bar up, and then don't forget, every challenge is an opportunity. If you face it that way, you'll be amazed what you'll get accomplished. I think that's all for now, Mountain Toughers. Let us know what you think.